Look at this heavenly chicken dish. This is chicken poblano. It's chicken with poblanos and some tomatoes and garlic and some rice on the side over here. And this is a fantastic stewed dish. If you've never had chicken poblano, you need to give this a try. And if you've had it, well, I don't have to explain anything further. I'll tell you what, give this one a try. Chicken poblano. Hello, welcome back to Texas Cooking Today. On this episode of Texas Cooking Today, we're going to be making chicken poblano. Chicken poblano is just a fabulous harmony of ingredients that will explode with flavor in your mouth. A coworker of mine asked me, why don't you have that on your show yet? That tastes fantastic. She said it was the best she'd ever had. So I'll tell you what, let me show you the ingredients, and I'll show you how to make the best tasting dish you've ever had. I do want to mention, this is a great after work meal. It takes very little work, it takes a single pot, there's less cleanup, and it's very easy. So, let me show you the ingredients, and let's make chicken poblano. Well, now let's get on with this wonderful dish that's named after our two primary ingredients here, chicken and poblano. The poblano flavor mixed with the acid and the flavor of tomato that's nice and sweet, they both just form this beautiful harmony of flavors, and we're going to add some other items too. Let me show off what we have here. We have 8 ounces of tomato sauce. This is 16 ounces of diced tomatoes in their own juice. 1 cup of white wine, or I use a white Zinfandel, or you can use a red wine. The best wine to use with this dish is whatever you're drinking. So if you're drinking a specific wine, put that in it and you're going to automatically pair this dish with what you're having for the evening. Now right over here, I have some of my other ingredients that we're going to use to flavor this up. I have some cayenne, paprika, a bit of garlic, and some salt. And we're going to use that to bring out some intense flavors. But also I need something to go with it that's sort of a nice neutral, and I have some rice here. Whichever rice you prefer, however, I think basmati is the way to go. It's an Indian rice, and it is quick cooking. It takes about 15 minutes to cook it up. It keeps a good firm texture. It does not get real sticky because it's very low in starch. Give this a try. Now, let's get on with this, and if you'll notice in the background over here, I've got, of course, my cooking oil, and I also have a propane torch, and we're going to try doing something here that I've never done on video before, and I wanted to try it out. Normally, I remove the skin on these by just putting them on a burner or under a broiler or out on the grill and just cook it off. And I'm going to put these on the burner, but while that's happening, I'm going to try the torch and see how well it works on these, and that way y'all will see if it's worth doing or not. So let's get on with this. We're going to start with our poblanos. Let's make us some chicken poblano. Yummy. Now the best way I know of and have used in the past of removing the skin from these little guys is to simply turn on my gas, fire up the burners, and put them directly on it. And that way they're directly on a good hot gas heat. That's the best way I know, and that is so far. I'm going to try this torch. I've never done that before. We're just going to give it a quick shot and see what happens here. The crackling you're hearing is the skin blistering on the underside. Won't need that high of a flame, I don't think. Oh, look at that go. That's beautiful. See how it blisters the skin? Causes it to pop and crackle. Exceptional. Well, we're here at the sink, and I have finished up our cooking off the skin on these. Now what I want to do next is to simply take this old skin off of here, and some people will tell you just to peel it off dry like this, and that way you don't disturb any of the oils underneath it, and you have a more pure and natural tasting product. Well, you know what, they're actually kind of right, alright? However, I am not going to sit and pick at chilies like this and do this. No. I have an easier way. I like to just put it under running water, and the oils I lose are the oils I lose. And frankly, these have such a potent flavor to them that I would not worry too much about that. So let's just do it the other way. Now the other thing I like to do when I have it underwater like this, let me show you here. Let's get this off. We'll turn that off for a moment. On the side of your poblanos, just take your finger and push it straight in like that and pull down. It makes a little tear in it. And you can pull this back, and in the top you'll notice there's the seed pod with the crown all together. So just pull that off. And seeds also occur along the veins in a poblano. So you'll see little clusters sometimes along the veins inside. Just pull those free and give them a quick wash. There you go. This is ready to be sliced or used just like it is. We're slicing up these beautiful poblano chilies now. I'm going to take them one at a time, just lay them open and make a cut right down the middle. It kind of flattens them out, makes them easier to work with. This one has a little seed that was hiding. Not a big thing. It doesn't matter if a seed or two makes it in. Not going to hurt a thing. You'll notice I want to make some strips, and they're about 3/8 of an inch wide, or like a wide French fry. There we are. And these strips, let's just put aside in the bowl. Now, if you wish, you can do these in pairs or one at a time. If you'll notice the way I'm cutting these, how I keep my thumb behind my first finger. There you go. Careful when you use the knife as a trowel. You don't want to cut yourself. And what I'm doing, I'm putting my thumb back, curving the fingers under. Those fingertips down here have to be in further from the knuckle above. And then the knuckle should be straight up and down. And this way, it holds the food in place. And I just move my hand back a little space at a time, each time holding the food down with those fingers. And the last cut is usually the hardest, right there. That's all there is to that, see? It's a good way to practice slicing. Alright, now we have those ready to go into our chicken poblano. Alright, it's time to get this on the road. We have our burner already on high. Let's heat that pan up some. As it's coming up in temperature, I'm going to put some olive oil in it. You can also use peanut oil for this, or any other kind of cooking oil you prefer. A bit of madder right there in my wine. There we go. Now, do you see how that water skates around inside of it? That's what we're looking for. That means the pan is hot. So I'm going to put in some oil here. And I might add a little bit of peanut oil to this to help raise the temperature of that olive oil. And the peanut oil is really handy because once you blend it with it, and it has such a high heat retention, you don't notice the flavor of the peanut oil, but you get the flavor of that olive oil with a higher threshold that it can handle. Now let's take our chicken and put it with the outside down first. We're going to cook that part to least. Now, at first your chicken will stick a little bit. Don't worry about that. You're going to allow that to happen. And as it's cooking, it's going to release. It starts to caramelize. Now, it's time for us to complete this. Nothing more than let's put the tomato in. That tomato sauce in there. Clean out every bit, because that tomato sauce makes a big difference. Now, we have our chilies. Put those right down into that dish. Nothing more to it than that. Does this look easy? It is. Put some wine in this. Alright. A bit more there. That's 1 cup even. I'm going to place some salt over the top of the whole thing. And this is about a teaspoon worth. I'm going to do a very, very light dusting of cayenne. The cayenne's going to bump up the heat. If you don't like a hot, spicy dish, don't use the cayenne. Paprika, don't be afraid of using it. It'll give it a warm tone without actually bumping up the heat of the dish. So on that I'll use about 2 teaspoons and about 1/2 teaspoon of the cayenne. At the most 2 teaspoons on the paprika. Now also, we had some garlic that we needed to put in there. But I'm going to have to slice this up. So let's take care of that before we move on. Now on this garlic, it's going to be really simple. I don't have to mince this or anything. I'm just going to do simple sliced garlic because this is going to be a stewed item. So what I need to do is to break this apart, and a couple ways you can do that is just to burrow your fingernail into it and pull back, and eventually you'll get into that garlic. The other way is push it down nice and firm. It'll break the whole thing apart and you'll have the cloves right there. And when I'm making this dish, whoops, I shot one out of my fingers. When I'm making this dish, I like to use, I'm having a hard time here, I like to use 3 cloves of this. And this is really fresh garlic, and that skin is also very tight. Just got to get it right oily. Now, for the simple slices, if you want, you can just do this. Or you can do what I did earlier and just mash the clove completely. That'll be fine. I'm still going to go ahead and chop this a little bit. And on this you can chop and throw in the whole thing, including that scab on the end. It's not going to hurt. That's because, again, like I said, it's going to be stewed. So I'm going to put it right over the top. I've got it now in my pan. And I'm going to mix this just a little bit. Get the spices down in there. Go. Get some of the vegetables under the chicken breast as well as on top, and allow all of the flavors to simply simmer and marry. So as this comes up to a boil, I will then reduce it to a simmer, and we're going to allow it to sit there and simmer for about 45 minutes. Now this has come up to a boil, so what I'm going to do is first put a lid on it, and then I'm going to reduce my heat to a medium-low. We're just going to let that simmer for about 45 minutes. That's all it's going to take. As you see, this is not really that difficult. It's up and simmering now. I have it at a medium-low, and if it doesn't have a good vigorous simmer like this, then you might want to turn it up just slightly. It should be releasing all of that alcohol in form of vapor. Now on the rice, if you have chosen basmati rice like I have, at 10 minutes before the end of cooking on this, you're going to want to start your water heating. And that gives you time for this to set up and for about 10 minutes after cooking, after you take it off the heat. And that's good for it because it helps to draw the moisture back into the chicken breasts and it helps flavor them better. For the rice, you can use a little butter in this if you wish. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of butter. I want to use a pinch of salt, which is a ½ teaspoon. And here I have 1/2 of a cup of basmati. And when it comes to rice proportions, it's always 2 to 1. 1 part rice, 2 parts water. So since I have a ½ cup of basmati here, I will need 1 cup of water. If I was using a cup of basmati, of course that would be 2 cups of water. A ½ of a cup will yield a healthy 2 portions. So, we want to remember that. If you're going to cook a regular white rice that normally takes about 30 minutes to cook, then you're going to want to start that a little earlier. So you'll want to start at about 20 to 25 minutes before the end of the cook on this. Now, we're going to set our timer since the simmer is up and running. There we go. I'll set my timer at 45 minutes, and that gives me time to go and sit and relax and cool down because I am really hot right now. 45 minutes, up and running. Every once in a while I'll come in and kind of move things around in there about every 15-20 minutes, and that's just to keep anything from sitting on the bottom in one spot too long and possibly burning. Alright, that's all there is to it. I can't wait. Oh, this is delicious. The timer has just now gone off for 10 minutes until this is done. Now, I have in my pan here 1 tablespoon of butter, and I've just poured in 1 cup of water. I'm going to put that on high, and I'm going to add in also a little bit of salt. I want about a teaspoon of salt in there. As soon as this comes to a boil, I'm going to put my rice in it, stir it, bring it to a boil again, and then I'll lower the temperature to a simmer and cover it. Basmati cooks quickly, so it'll be done in 15 minutes. The water on the rice has now come up to a boil. Cooking rice is very simple. Do not make it difficult. Do not stir it during the cooking process at all. Stir it 1 time at the beginning just to get it mixed well. Bring it to a boil, then cover it, reduce the temperature to simmer, and let it simmer. Excuse me, making lots of noise today. For simmering this, like I said, don't stir it and don't lift the lid to check on it. Just check it after the steam starts to slow down on it. That's when you know it's going to be about ready. You should see what looks like a bunch of little dimples in the top of the rice when it's done. There, it's up to a boil. I'm going to reduce my temperature to a simmer. There we go. And we'll let that sit there and simmer until my timer has just gone off. So I'm now going to turn off this chicken. I'm going to set it aside and just allow it to set. Over here, our rice, it's still cooking, and it's going to need about, let's give that another 7 to 8 minutes, since it's about, it's been in there for about 7 minutes now, so another 7 to 8. It's time that we check this rice. It has been in here for about 14 minutes. I'm going to pull this lid back. You'll notice those little dimples I was talking about in the top. But the best way I know of checking this is just to pull it back in the center. And if it looks dry on bottom and there's no boiling water, and there is none here, then you know that that is going to be finished. I'm just going to turn off the heat, move it with my fork slightly to fluff it, and that rice is ready to go. Remember, don't make rice difficult. It's a very simple thing. Now, let's assemble our beautiful dish. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to put plenty of this sauce, the juice here, right down into this bowl. There we go. Now, take one of my chicken breasts, set it up on top. Isn't that simple? Beautiful. Now, our rice. Just put it on the side here. And that's all there is to it. Very simple, elegant, and exceptionally tasty dish. Well, there's just not a lot to this dish. However, the flavors are unbelievable. Oh, I can't wait. I have just been having a fit for this. Oh, look at the chicken. It's hard to cut. It's just falling apart quite literally. And as you put it down in the juice, the chicken takes on the flavor of that juice. It tastes absolutely wonderful. Chicken poblano. Oh my goodness. There's a magical flavor that comes from it. It is indescribable. For one of the easiest meals you'll ever make, you're going to be blown away at how good this tastes. Chicken poblano. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today. To my subscribers, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. You have a good day. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today, the show where you can get great recipes and the best techniques are taught. Please subscribe to Texas Cooking Today, where you will always find something hot and ready to eat.